Good morning, DIA. My name is Raja Singh. I'm the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Insurance Division at Velocity. Velocity, for those of you who haven't heard of us, is an enterprise software company based in San Francisco, and we're a strategic ISV partner of Salesforce. So we build a number of insurance applications on their platform, including broker portals, consumer self-service portals, agent desktops, contact center applications, and then we also have a very complete rating, quoting, any application system that we all run in the cloud. Now, we're excited to be back here for our third DIA show, and I'm excited to report that Velocity now has over 350 people around the world and live deployments on 6 continents. And I always joke for our team, getting to 7 is very hard, so we're pretty happy with 6. And some of our customers include some of the largest carriers, people like AIG, MetLife, the Pru, National Nederlander, Farmers Insurance, and Allstate. So we sell mostly to the larger carriers. At our first DAI show, we introduced our contact center solution. At our second show in Amsterdam, we introduced our broker portals and our quoting solution. And we're excited to be here today to share our newest app, which is a consumer-facing or small business user-facing mobile application. And I owe a little bit of a shout out to Roger and Reggie and the team, because it was actually a lot of the inspiration and applications that we saw in Amsterdam that provided some of the inspiration and motivation for us to go ahead and build this app. So it actually has been a great experience for us to work with DIA. Now, I want to share a very brief story on a personal side about a friend of mine named Pat. And so Pat is a great guy. He lives actually right around the corner from me in my hometown outside San Francisco. He has coached our kids' soccer teams. He has led our scout troop. His wife was the president of our school association, and both of them have actually been on the board of our local swim association. Now, the reason I bring up this story in this form is Pat is also my insurance broker. And it's pretty simple how this has benefited his business. Now, all of the things he does in our community I think are quite sincere. He's actually a really good guy. But he knows everybody. He's involved. And when you need insurance, you call Pat. It's as simple as that. And now, I don't know if this model is going to hold up into the later part of this century as digital natives enter the market, but it's worked pretty well so far. Now, the other reason I bring this up is there's a flip side of the story. As much as I see Pat, as much as we go to the same sporting events with our kids, it's interesting how the changes in my life have not really made it into my coverages. My coverages have largely been about the same for the last 10 or 15 years. A couple cars, a house, umbrella policy. And so even when my wife started a home-based business, there wasn't an offer of, let's say, business insurance. When I got a new dog, there wasn't pet insurance. As I've gotten older, unfortunately, there hasn't been a discussion about disability or long-term care or any of those nasty things that we have to buy over in the States. And even small things like the umbrella policy, as my assets have grown, there hasn't been a review of that. Now, in all fairness to Pat and many like him, all the systems that they have in their agencies aren't really built to pick up those very subtle changes in a customer's lifestyle. They don't know if I bought a dog. They don't know if I made some money on something or bought some other property. It's largely the insured that has to initiate those conversations to reach out to the broker for help. And their systems are actually based on writing new business and providing responses to inquiries, not on that proactive care. So that's where Velocity comes in. And that's where I'd like you to meet Vela, who is our latest virtual insurance agent. Vela is basically designed to provide that insurance agent in your pocket that picks up many of those subtle changes in your life that the agents miss. And so one of our first premises for Vela is to draw you in by alerts largely coming through IoT type of devices. So I see here, well-timed by one of my Velocity colleagues in the crowd, that there's actually one of the sensors in my home has gone off, and Vela has actually 3 different notifications that she wants me to take a look at within the application. So let's go ahead and launch in. Now, I should say that for those of you in the audience, Vela is a configurable mobile app. It's designed to be completely rebranded by our carrier partners to basically be part of their digital strategy. All the data is stored within Salesforce, so it can be used as part of your digital engagement strategy, and it's fully configurable. So when I'm in the app, there's a couple things we can do. One of the alerts that we received was a result of our auto insurance coverage. So we've partnered with the Salesforce IoT Cloud and a telematics provider named MapAnything to provide telematics data direct to the advice. So with Velocity, we use our technologies to pull this information once a night. We pull in things like hard stop, accelerations, and other, pull that into the device and make sure that we can calculate a safety rating. Then once a month, we can push out an alert with the new billing for that month. So it involves that usage-based insurance directly within the application framework, along with summary of coverages, the ability to view an ID card, for instance, and all the other customer service functions you'd expect in an app. Now, the second way we draw people in is via that alert I saw on the homepage to pull people into, let's say, our renter's policy. And we also use the Salesforce IoT Cloud to have sensors within the home, and I think you've seen some of those other sensors at DIAs both here and in the past, to provide those alerts to policyholders. And so we get real-time updates from the Salesforce IoT Cloud that drove that change at the beginning of my presentation and then that recent change in the temperature center you just saw. So we can drive that from here, and we can also execute coverage changes as we determine that our coverage needs may change directly from the app. I can pick an effective date, for instance, change, let's say, my deductible, and then see how my price is modified and how much money I'll save as a result of that change. Now, if I have questions about any of these policies, all I need to do is ask Vela. So I can ask her a question, for instance, when does my policy expire? So we have teamed with IBM Watson and are using their natural language processing technology to take that inquiry, translate it into a query within Velocity, and pull this data back, whether it lives in our system or whether we need to call it to another system. You can also do things like, when is my bill due? And Vela will respond, let you know that you owe $178 on the 23rd, and ask if you want to pay it now. When I say yes, it pops up another key feature of the application, which is what we call our OmniScript technology, and runs a really well-placed form directly within the chat, and allows me to succinctly collect this information and then submit it for payment. So I see I've got multiple payment methods available. I can submit, and Vela will then send that to the payment gateway and respond with a confirmation. Now, drawing users into the app, providing them some IoT alerts, get them there, allow them to conduct basic transactions via a text-like interface. That's one important part of Vela. But the other part is actually picking up on some of those changes in the lifestyle that I mentioned at the beginning. And so when we scroll down Vela's interface, we see actually the coverages that I have right on the top of the screen. And so I've got auto, renters, and valuables. But then I see things in my life, sorry about that, then I see things in my life that I could cover but haven't, such as other valuables or my pets. And then I see a series of interview questions. These are effectively micro interviews that guide me through the process of assessing my risk. So I can drill into, let's say, add pets, do a risk assessment, et cetera. And once those are added, I can quickly click on these items, swipe to cover, let's say, my pets, and add them immediately to a policy. And so this is hitting the Velocity rating engine. It's actually using that information that I submitted previously through an interview and then allow me to swipe to cover whenever I'm ready. And likewise on IoT events, we can also pick up changes when you're coming into, let's say, a new country or having another external event. And so in this case, Vela knows that I'm in Munich, and through geofencing or when the phone comes online in another area, it can say, great, you're in Munich. I hope you enjoy the celebrations and the history of old Bavaria, but also be careful while you're abroad. Travel insurance can help. And it can provide me with an opportunity to buy travel insurance, summarize some of the coverages that are available, ask me if I would like to provide a quote. Sure, I'd like to see a quote. It then pops back, again, a dynamic form right within the chat window that allows me to answer questions like how many people I'm traveling with, how long I'll be in Munich, the cost of my trip, and when I plan to depart. I can submit that. It'll hit the Velocity rating engine or an external rating engine, provide me a quote. I can say this one looks great. And it asks me if I would like to bill my Visa for this cover. Yes, I do. And it wishes me a great trip and says that it's now been put in place. Then when I come back out to the home page and refresh there, you'll see that I now have a pet policy as well as a travel policy added to my collection of information. Now, importantly, Vela is more than just a pretty face. And so everything I've shown you is actually built within Velocity, declarative product definitions, rating information, all built without code. It all runs within Salesforce, so it's secure and reliable and available globally within the cloud. And again, we'd love to show you more back at our booth, so I'd invite you to please stop by. We also do some first notice of loss. We can show you that within Vela. Thanks so much. Great to be back at DIA.